Think back to your first ever edit. Visualize all the motion graphics you used, all the transitions, sound effects, and just really imagine it. If you're anything like me, you're probably cringing at yourself right now. I remember my first ever showreel, which I put up on Fiverr, was terrible, but I thought I was the best editor in the world. So why is that? Why do we look back at our first ever edit and go, oh, that is a terrible piece of work? You see, at the time of making that first ever edit, we didn't have the knowledge that we have now. So now when we look back at it, we have a new perspective. We notice all the mistakes we made. But at the time, because we didn't have that perspective, we didn't have the knowledge of what was going wrong, we couldn't fix it, nor even see there was a problem. So when it comes to reviewing our edits and making sure there's no mistakes, how do we get this new perspective? How do we lift the blindfold so we're not missing out on mistakes that we've made? Well, I've created a 3-step method to do exactly that. In the first step, we're going to take a complete break from the edit, giving ourselves fresh eyes. In step 2, we then carry out a 3-part review process. This consists of doing 3 separate reviews on our content to check for different errors individually. And then the third and final part, which is the fixing process. In this section, we're going to fix the issues, but we're also going to separate them into 2 distinct categories. But that's for the end of the video. For now, let's get into the first section. Part 1. The fresh eyes review technique. When you're a few hours into an edit, it's easy to just correct issues without actually knowing you're correcting them. And this is why it's essential to this review process that we gain a fresh perspective. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a 15-minute break from the edit. You can make this longer if you need to, but we just want to completely let our brain forget about the edit. We don't want to think about what we've done. We don't want to imagine it. We just want to let go. Now, it's quite important for this that you don't go on your phone, you don't start watching a video, you just completely relax. Let your brain just go numb, which gives you space to actually notice mistakes that you've made. While we're taking this 15-minute break, what we want to do is prime our brain to actually pick up on things that have gone wrong. So just have in your mind that when you come to review this edit, you want to do it from a place of making it the best video that you can. Because one thing which is going to completely destroy this review process is that you might notice an issue but go, it's so annoying to fix and it's not really worth doing it. And, then you just start to ignore mistakes. And if you come at it from a perspective of just trying to make the best video ever, then you're going to subconsciously pick up on more issues. For example, let's say you notice a section in the video that's slightly boring, but not boring enough for you to really want to fix it. If you have the perspective of trying to make the best video ever, then you're going to just note that down and fix it regardless. Whereas if you come at it from the perspective of just trying to get it done as soon as possible, then you're going to skip out on those things. And the difference between a great video and a decent one is those very minute changes. So while we're in our 15-minute break, we're going to just prime our brain. We want to make the best video ever. We're going to fix every single issue. That's the place that we're coming at it from. Part 2, the 3-step review process. So the first pass is the boring bits. So we're going to watch from the beginning to the end of the video, and we're just going to use a notepad and pen to jot down where we find boring sections. Now, it's very important that you don't pause the video. So you need to watch it from the beginning till the end, so you get a feel for the flow of the video. And also it puts you in the shoes of the viewer. If you get 5 minutes into the edit and you get quite bored, that's typically where a viewer is going to click off. So you need to note that down. And remember, don't lie to yourself and think, it's just okay. I mean, I can get away with it. No, we need to come at this from the perspective that we want to make the most perfect video edit. So that means we don't ignore this. We're going to write it down and we will fix this later. Once you've done that, you've completed the first pass. The second pass is a visual polish. So we're looking for oversized text, misaligned objects, oversized objects, and stuff like that. This is where we're paying attention to the aesthetics. Is this object slightly blurry? Could I get a better asset? Could I slightly just scale this down to make it look a little bit more proportionate? These are the questions which we're asking. And remember to just jot down anything which you notice. Now, the third pass is motion and keyframes. Ask yourself, do these transitions feel natural? Are these animations smooth? Take a look throughout the video from beginning to end and just jot down anything which you notice. And a quick tip is to make sure that you treat these passes as separate. This allows you to completely just focus your attention on one small thing, and you're more likely to notice the mistakes. Now, the final part is the fixing process. Now, we're going to separate our issues into two separate categories. We have simple issues and complex issues. Simple issues are the ones which we have identified in the second and third pass. So that means keyframes and also just small little visual things which we can clean up. We call these simple because once you've identified them, it's easy to fix. For example, if you have keyframes that are spaced too closely together, you just drag them apart. Or if there's an oversized object, we just scale it down. But with complex issues, it's a little bit more complicated. A pro tip with simple issues is that you should note down the things that you keep repeatedly getting wrong throughout an edit, because this is going to formulate a checklist which you can then run through on your next edits, because you know that you've got them wrong a few times before. You should also go through that checklist while you're editing your next video, so you can try and actually avoid these issues rather than fixing them after it's happened. Now we come to complex issues. Now, complex issues is where the video becomes boring, and we would have identified these sections in our first pass. And the reason this is complex is because it might not necessarily be to do with a technical issue like an object being oversized. It might be, for example, the pacing of the video, or perhaps the editing isn't correctly showing what's being spoken about and it makes it unclear for the viewer, and then they have to think, and then they get bored, and then they want to click off. It could be anything. Maybe just the subject isn't interesting. And we need to sieve through all of these things to actually get to the root of what's the issue. So I've come up with 3 questions which you can ask yourself, and the answer to these questions will point you in the right direction. And just bear in mind, there might not just be one issue. So you might actually realize it's an issue of all 3, not just one. So the first question is, could this section be more interesting if it displayed what is being spoken about more clearly? So here we're really trying to understand, are the visuals showing the viewer what is being spoken about? So let's say we're making a video about KSI, and I say KSI likes YouTube, music, and boxing, but the edit only shows a picture of KSI. That would be an example of an edit which doesn't visually represent what's being spoken about, because KSI was mentioned in 3 different contexts: YouTube, music, and boxing. So if I only just show a picture of KSI, I'm not actually showing the viewer KSI doing YouTube, KSI doing music, KSI boxing. This discrepancy makes the viewer kind of question, well, what does KSI look like when he's doing YouTube? What does KSI look like when he's making music or boxing? And then they have to imagine. And the thing is, viewers don't want to think. So that's where the issue might be. So question 2 is, do the visuals feel slow compared to the narration? Going back to our example of KSI, if the narration says KSI likes YouTube, music, and boxing, if we only had one picture of KSI up on the screen while we said that, we're going to feel that the narration is moving faster than the visuals. Now, on the flip side, if we had a good edit which matched the pacing of the narration, we might have 3 different videos pop up of KSI doing each thing. Now, this matches it. And as new information is being told to us through the narration, we're also getting that new information shown to us through video. And this means that the pacing is now matching, so we don't feel that discrepancy. Now, the third question is the subject just not that interesting in and of itself? So here we've identified something which isn't necessarily to do with the editing. Let's go back to our example of KSI. Perhaps we were making a video about Prime Hydration, and we were focusing clearly on the business side of things, everything which made the marketing good and all that. But then the video kind of shifts into a more personal thing with KSI, something to do more with his endeavors outside of Prime. Now, while it may be relevant to the video, perhaps business-minded people might get bored in this part of the video. They might not actually be interested in what KSI is doing outside of this business. We just need to think, is this an issue to do with the subject or the editing? Because if it's to do with the subject, then that's something which we need to change in the script, not the editing. Now, these 3 questions are going to show us where the issue is, and then we can focus on how to fix that from there. And remember, it can be all 3 of these things at the same time, so don't lock yourself off to the idea that you might have issues in multiple areas. So all in all, by applying this 3-part review process, we're going to pick up on the issues in our edits, which is extremely important to make a polished video. Now let's get back to our timelines with completely fresh eyes and review it so we can make the best videos we can. Now I'm going to get to editing this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.